All right, Lexi. So let's talk a little bit about food. And here in Vancouver, it's a very multicultural city. So we have, we can find basically restaurants from all over the world with all different kinds of cuisines. And I think that basically, for every palate, you can find something here in Vancouver. And I find it especially interesting because there has been a bit of a trend here in Vancouver for people to become healthier and eat healthier. And a lot of restaurants are trying to accommodate that. But at the same time, of course, there are still a lot of restaurants offering very greasy, unhealthy food and, just burgers and so on. So what kind of food do you like?
My favorite cuisine is Japanese.
Okay.
I love sushi and any type of Japanese food. I would say from being in Japan, I just was in the airport though and I had sushi, but I would say that we have one of the best sushi in the world.
Here in
Apart
Vancouver.
from Japan, yes.
Interesting. That's what I also heard because, I have had Japanese people here really compliment the quality of the fish and so on. That being said, I would love to go to Tokyo and try it. But I think that our fish here in Vancouver or in Canada and in British Columbia is just excellent. So I think that makes the sushi, of course, very, very good. And do you have any favorite restaurants here in Vancouver? Sushi restaurants?
Yes, there's a few that I like. One is called Tampopo, and I also like Bella Sushi. There's a few different restaurants where you get the authentic Japanese sushi, and then some people do more of a North American takeoff of the sushi and make crazy different rolls with a bunch of different sauces on it. I was actually told that in Japan, there's not a California roll.
True. I think that is perhaps only, to my understanding, it was created in LA, and then it's a North American thing. Perhaps it can also be found in Europe. I have eaten sushi in Germany and France. However, I do not remember if California roll was even available. So that's interesting.
Yeah, another interesting thing about sushi is when I traveled to Australia, there were a bunch of different sushi restaurants and you could get some sushi to go. The difference was usually most sushi that I have here in Vancouver, you can either get it in a little cone or you can get it chopped up. Which I believe is the traditional way in rolls, chopped up. But when I was in Australia, it was very different because if you got a roll, it was rolled up and kind of just taken to go. It wasn't
in a cone then? Not
a cone. It was rolled up and, the next part of, is chopping the sushi up. The sushi roll.
Interesting. So they would simply not chop it.
Yes, they wouldn't chop it. So it was fine for on the go, but I didn't find it as satisfying as sitting down with your friends having sushi. Another thing that was interesting too in Australia is when I got a tuna roll, a few places I went to, the tuna, I believe it was from a can. It wasn't the tuna.
From a can, I see.
Yes.
So it wasn't really fresh tuna.
It wasn't fresh tuna. Just for the few places I went to, which was interesting, because in Vancouver, all the tuna that you get is really fresh.
That is true. However, I have read and have been told that unfortunately, the tuna in North America has a lot of mercury in it. And because of that, I have been avoiding tuna for the longest time. And I primarily eat salmon, cod, and different kinds of fish. And I've been avoiding tuna. However, that being said, I need to do some. I need to check online to see if that is really the truth. But I always like to warn my friends about that, and maybe they can check as well. Especially because a lot of people seem to really like tuna.
Yes, tuna is really popular, and yes, I believe that there is some mercury in the tuna. I don't know how high the levels are. I have tuna every once in a while. I am actually allergic to salmon. So,
Really?
yes, I'm
Wow. Okay.
allergic to salmon, which is very unfortunate. So, I have tuna every once in a while instead of salmon.
I was not even aware that was possible to be allergic to salmon in itself. That's quite interesting. And of course, it is a shame because there are there's some delicious rolls, sushi rolls made of salmon. But I guess let's change the topic because if you're allergic, then I don't want to say how great it is. Anyway, so what kind of do you like any other types of food?
Yes, I like Vietnamese cuisine. My favorite is pho, which is, I get the beef pho, which is pretty popular. I also enjoy their salad rolls, and I also like Thai food too.
Interesting. So it seems to me that you really like Asian food primarily.
Yes.
Okay. Do you like any European food as well? So, or any European cuisines, like perhaps Italian, French?
Um, yes, I do enjoy Italian food. I really like pasta and pizza. What I found when I went to Italy and had their pizza compared to North American pizza, there's a big difference.
Indeed. I haven't been to Italy in a long time. However, I do remember eating fantastic pizza in Italy that was indeed quite different from, what you would get from a chain restaurant here in North America. So here in North America, the pizza is very Americanized, to say the least. So the ingredients aren't quite the same. It tastes very different. I think that at least in Italy, to me, it was it was very the crust was very nice and light, and it was like a thin, delicious bread. Is that what you found about the pizza over in Italy as well?
Yes, I found when I was in Italy, I found the pizzas to be very simple. When they make the dough, yeah, it is a very thin crust, and one of their most popular pizzas is the margherita, which is pretty much just tomato sauce, and you put cheese on top with, I believe it is some basil
I think so.
on top of that. And very simple, and they put it in a wooden oven, and it tastes really, it tastes very, how do I say,
I
it
would
was
guess
good
very,
taste.
very
Healthy.
very
It was
healthy.
healthier,
Okay.
yeah. I found that for pizza in North America,
It's a little bit greasier, right?
it
A
is,
little bit
yes.
fatter, almost.
And they like to, what I find is for some pizzas, they have a bunch of toppings. And in Italy, when I was there, it was just, it was more based on cheese, just a few toppings, or, with prosciutto. In North America, people pile on the toppings, and I feel like it takes away from the original pizza.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree, and I remember that too. That the pizzas over in Italy were simpler, and I just think that it's probably because of the fact that here in North America we like having a lot of protein, so we just add a lot of toppings and different flavors as well to, and I think that because of more competition, each different pizza place started creating different creative kinds of pizza to try to attract more customers, and that created like a really wide variety of toppings being offered.
Yes.
Which I find interesting. And back to Vietnamese food, I think only recently that I started trying it more, and I do really like it as well. Would you have any local restaurants to recommend for Vietnamese food?
I just go to a few restaurants in North Vancouver that are owned by different families. I think it's always best to go with a family-owned restaurant. It's really authentic versus a chain. Yes.
Okay, that's a good idea, especially because I think that a family-owned restaurant, the owners care more about the food that they're making, the ambiance that they're creating, and so on. I think that that's a good tip. Thank you. And yeah, I think that we're running out of time for this chat, but it was interesting to talk a little bit about what you like to eat. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.